Alright, hello guys, this is Axmus here, and I'm coming at you with a video, kind of a review about the Division and its kind of concepts and everything like that I wanted to show you guys today. So here I am. This is my build currently. Right now I am level 30 in the story mode, or I don't really know what else to call it other than the story mode, to be honest with you. And I'm also level 40 in the Dark Zone. Now, this is my max build. I'm using the Black Market AK for a primary and the Vector 45 ACP as a secondary. And I also have the Tactical M1911 as a sidearm. Now, one of the first things in the game that you will see is the base of operations after you come out of Brooklyn. And here you can upgrade your tech wing, security wing, and medical wing, which will give you different upgrades for your character. Now, when you go up into the base of operations, one of the first things you'll notice to the left side is obviously the restock that you see right here. And then you'll also notice that you have 3 vendors here that will sell you weapons, gear, and mods, which you can buy from them for credits, and you can also sell things here for credits as well. One of the other things that you can get from upgrading your base of operations is a crafting station, and you can come here and you can craft different weapons as long as you have the blueprints for them. And you can collect blueprints from doing all of the side missions in a specific area, and then when you turn to that safe house, it'll give you like about 50k experience depending on the area that you do it in, and they will also reward blueprints for specific weapons and stuff like that. Here in the security wing, you have upgrades that will give you a dark zone gear vendor, which is from the PvP area of the game, and you can get different gear from this guy from the Dark Zone. He'll sell random stuff, not necessarily predictable as of right now, at least I can't tell. And he'll sell you those for Dark Zone funds, which you can get from playing in the Dark Zone. So here in the scavenger crate, this is another upgrade. You can get different cosmetic items and possibly mods for your gear as well. In the security wing, you can get weapon parts here that will help you craft things. Another vendor that you can get here from upgrading the security wing from the armory upgrade is the advanced weaponry vendor, who will sell you better weapons and better gear that will be available to you at level 30. There's also a thing here where you can get special ammo, which will give you incendiary bullets, explosive bullets, and stuff like that. That will help you out a lot. The rewards claim vendor here is someone who will give you different rewards from throughout the game that you might not have collected. He also this is where you can find like special stuff, like if you got the game or the day 1 copy of the game, you can also come here to get the stuff that you are entitled to here, as long as you entered the code, obviously. Here in the medical wing, all of these upgrades can give you different filter levels. As you can see here in the abilities, it says I'm filter level 4 because of the upgrades that I got here in the medical wing. There's also a fabric place here that can give you fabric for upgrading or crafting materials. And then this situation, oh wait, that is not the board that I was talking about. Anyway, but in every other safe house, there's a situation board that you can read to get your side missions and stuff like that. Actually, I believe, yeah, it's right over here. It looks like this. You can read, you hold square on it, you read the situation board, and then it'll give you a list of side missions and encounters. Encounters are what give you extra tech, medical, and security wing supplies, besides from the main story missions. And this here, there's a JTF officer at every safe house that you can go to, and you can talk to her, and she'll give you your side missions. And then when you complete all of those side missions and encounters, you will be able to come back here and collect a kind of like a reward for experience. And so that's the base of operations. Okay, now moving on to kind of my review of the story mode. This story mode is fairly interesting. And I say that because the story missions alone will not get you to level 30, nor will it give you the supplies to fully upgrade your base of operations, which many people want to do. Obviously, they want to do both of them because there's benefits to doing both of those. So, instead of doing that, instead of necessarily doing just story missions, I feel like it's important to focus on encounters and side missions, which I unfortunately can't show you much of because I've done most of these side missions and encounters, or all of these side missions and the encounters in the game as of right now. So those will get you to the next levels that you need to be in order to accomplish doing these story missions, because each story mission has a recommended level. You can hold replay after you've already done them, and I believe for hard, I can't remember what the actual what the recommended levels are, but in order to hit those recommended levels, sometimes you need to do these story missions and the encounters to the side that are around these missions, because those will help you out and make sure that you actually get to those levels, but you also have enough material and drops in order to be competitive at those. And so that's what kind of the point of those side missions and encounters are, is to get you the drops, get you the stuff that you need in order to be able to complete the main story missions. I would have liked to see a little bit more variety in terms of the types of enemies that we see. I feel like there's a lot of rudimentary, kind of just run-of-the-mill enemies. There's definitely different varieties in terms of I would say in terms of the factions, because I really liked how there were different factions that control different areas of the map and pertaining to a specific story mission, and I personally love that part of it. I felt like it added like a different level of, I don't want to say like suspense or anything like that, but not every mission has the exact same enemies as the last one does, which is pretty interesting to me and pretty cool in my opinion. But like I said, I feel like you need to do the side missions and encounters in order to hit those recommended levels. Obviously, you can find players who are level 30s or higher levels than you with better gear that can help you run through the missions with you. But I feel like you're kind of missing out on an essential part of the grinding process of the game. That being said, though, I feel like the story missions and the side missions, I wish there was a little bit more variety. Obviously, you can't do much with the variety, and there's not necessarily much that you can do with the game, especially when it pertains to the type of missions and the type of enemies as well. But I hope in later updates there's a little bit more variety in terms of the missions and stuff like that. But that's, once again, that's my opinion, and I feel like the story mode came out fairly well. The story is pretty fledged out as well. I felt like that's another important part about this. If people seem to think that there is not much of a story, there is, but the story mission is in these 235 pieces of intel that are scattered across the map. The story mission is in the intel that you get from these missions and stuff like that you can actually find here, which I'll show you guys in a second. You can find the intel right here, and this is all the stuff that you can get from the main story missions right here. You'll find this intel across all main story missions, and you can read these or listen to them more so, or watch them as well. There might be little videos that give you kind of a story, a backstory to the mission that you're doing or the mission that you just completed, which to me is pretty cool. You can also find field data, which is stuff you'll find just roaming around on the streets. And these are also where the story lies as well, because if you listen to some of these, they give you kind of a background of what the citizens had to go through in the game and stuff like that, and give you a better backstory to everything that happened in the game, especially before you got there or after you got there. I can't really remember, but they give you kind of like a different feeling to the story. Some of them give off a little bit more despair, and some of them give off a little bit more kind of like a picture of like possible hope or happiness. And to me, I feel like the story mode, when it comes to the lore of the game, I feel like is a lot more fledged out than most people probably see, because it's not blatantly obvious. So that being said, let's move on to the multiplayer. So the multiplayer aspect of the game is called the Dark Zone, and it is the big giant red thing right in the middle of the map that it's pretty hard to miss, especially when you first open up your map. It obviously says Dark Zone over it, and the different levels for the Dark Zone are called DZ01, DZ02, all the way up to 6. Now, your player bracket is the bracket that you're going to get match made into. So if you're a level 5, you will not get match made with level 30s. If you're a level 30, you will not get match made with level 15s. If you, for instance, want to play with your friends that are level 30s, you can be in their group and you can go up a player bracket with them and play in a level 30 player bracket. However, just know that you will get shitted on, because every enemy that spawns in the Dark Zone up until you get to DZ3 and DZ4 will be level 30s. And also when you start going to DZ3, DZ4, they will be level 31s, and then DZ5 and DZ6 are level 32s. And all of these areas pose different threats as well. Probably one of the most interesting parts of this is that there's a balancing system. You can't necessarily match with a lower level than yourself, which to me is good, because otherwise we would have level 30s running around trying to murk level 5s or level 15s, like I've said before, and that to me would just ruin the game. It would make the Dark Zone almost unplayable for any lower level players, and it would probably suck for a lot of lower level players that don't have the gear that a level 30 would have. And so I feel like that balancing system really helps out. Another aspect of the game of the Dark Zone is the bosses that you can find. Now, the bosses can often be found at these landmarks here, and at all of these landmarks you will usually find a named boss, and you will also find enemies around him as well, golds, purples, depending on what you're looking for. Golds, purples, and the boss will drop you, usually, depending on where you go, usually 2 to 3 items. Sometimes purples, sometimes when you're at the lower levels, they'll drop mostly purples if you're at a level 30, or blues or greens depending on your level. It's a great way to farm. There are a lot of farming runs that you can find here on YouTube. I might even show two of the ones that me and my friends take usually. And these farming runs help out quite a bit, especially when you're trying to farm Dark Zone level, because when you hit Dark Zone level 30, you can buy weapons and gear from the Dark Zone weapon vendor, or the Dark Zone vendor that is found inside of your base of operations from the security wing upgrades. And once you hit level 30, you can also come here to farm something that's called Phoenix credits, which when you hit level 30 in the story mode, you have daily missions that you can complete. And they will award things called Phoenix credits, which you can use to buy blueprints from random vendors in the Dark Zone, as well as weapons. And you can also use them to buy gear and gear blueprints, which can be found also at the special gear vendor in the base of operations. And these daily story missions here range from, there's usually 2 hard story missions, and there's 1 challenging story mission, which I believe this one is the challenging story mission today. And those will award you Phoenix credits and guaranteed drops. So if I were to replay this mission, I would get a guaranteed 15 Phoenix credits, 13,000 normal credits, and 1 equipment item that could possibly help me in the future. And here you can also go to this mission, you replay this one. This mission, if you play it on hard, will give you 15 Phoenix credits, or guaranteed one blue equipment item, and a blue crafting material. And then also, if you go to this challenging story mission, this one will reward you a guaranteed high-end crafting material and a guaranteed high-end gear item. And it can also reward you up to 50 Phoenix credits and about 19,000 regular credits, which is pretty important, especially at endgame when you need to buy better gear in the Dark Zone or even at your gear vendors. So also in the Dark Zone, you'll notice that you can also find Division Tech, which will be marked usually with those 3 little dots right there. And it'll be in zones just like this, sort of like the ones that you might have already found with weapon materials, fabric materials, and tools kind of scattered around the story mode maps. That Division Tech can also be used to craft materials as well. And all of this kind of plays into the Dark Zone very, very, very well. I personally love the Dark Zone. I feel like it's probably the best part of the game. It's also the most frustrating part of the game because, honestly, the Dark Zone can be a pain in the ass, especially when you have rogue players that have better gear than you. When they have better gear than you, you're going to get shitted on, and you're going to lose level, you're going to lose Dark Zone rank, you're going to lose XP, you're going to lose your Dark Zone credits or Dark Zone funds as well. And it's a pain in the ass because sometimes you do get shitted on, you get absolutely wrecked, and there's nothing you can do about it because you can go back and try to kill them, but you could possibly get wrecked again. And if you kill a rogue player, you can also claim their bounty, and you can get a very high amount of XP from just simply trying to farm rogue players if they decide to go rogue. One of the interesting parts about this area too is the extraction areas, which you can't take contaminated loot outside of the Dark Zone, so you will have like a little fanny pack on your back, and you'll have to extract that in order to get that loot from the Dark Zone, which is another aspect of the game that can become a big pain in the ass, especially when you might find a very good gear that you want and someone kills you and they can take your loot and your part of your Dark Zone funds, and they'll also get your Dark Zone keys, which you can use to open chests in contaminated areas. And so, like I said, this is probably my favorite part of the game. I feel like the feeling of survivability that you get from being inside of this zone and being inside of the Dark Zone, and that constant threat from not only players, but there's also hundreds of enemies scattered across the streets that will respawn at random times, and just this constant threat there that gives you this suspense whenever you're in the Dark Zone, and that around any corner someone can be coming to come and try to snatch you or snatch your loot and try to kill you. And so I feel like the Dark Zone's fairly balanced. I feel like the majority of this game is balanced as of right now. There are obviously guns that have emerged that are overpowered or can be overpowered, and there's obviously farming runs in the main story, and there's also farming runs in the Dark Zone. If you want to, you can look one of those up and use those. Overall, I feel like the game is probably one of the most fun that I've ever played. I've put quite a bit of time into the game as of right now. I think it's about a little over 6 days, and it's just one of those things that I find to be, this game's just got a special kind of, I hate to say it, I'm not really sure what to say. Just got a special kind of attraction to it, and I feel like this game just brought kind of like a whole new level to kind of like, I guess, as you could say, like MMORPGs, I guess. And I feel like a lot of game developers should probably take note if they're going to make games like these, because this is pretty much how you should do it. They're obviously missing like a lot of customization that's found in normal RPGs and stuff like that. However, sorry for the notification there. I apologize. But in terms of the game in general, game is fantastic. I really recommend it to anybody that enjoys playing games and would love to have fun with some friends, because it's just one of those games that I've really enjoyed, and I hope that everyone else enjoys as well. And if anyone's looking to play with me, please feel free to hit me up on Twitter. I'm usually on kind of afternoons, and I'll be setting up a streaming schedule very soon. I'm currently working to get that together with you guys. However, just follow me on Twitter at xatmos, and you guys can follow me there, and I usually announce when I'm going to stream on there. If you guys feel so inclined, please do follow me. Also, subscribe to the channel, like this video if you enjoyed it, and let me know if I can do anything better for you. I'm sorry for the lack of gameplay. I really just wanted to kind of show you guys like a live review sort of thing, kind of just testing it out. Let me know what I can do in the future. I'm going to start a couple series soon. Hopefully I can get some footage for that. And I hope you guys have an awesome day, and thank you for watching the video.